Hey there friends, thanks for checking in. I'm with Vincent Jackson here. I originally took a training class with him. He offers a lot of information. We've become good friends ever since, and he's been featured on this channel, even have the Vincent Jackson playlist. And I really enjoy having him on here because we talk about situations that are important to people as CCW holders. So thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me
once again. All right. There's a situation that took place in Michigan where two ladies were shopping at Walmart. They got into an argument over the last notebook. They were school shopping. There was one notebook left. They got into an argument over it. It resulted in pushing and shoving.
Correct.
And then one of the ladies' mother pulled her gun. And people started panicking. Chaos ensued. Police were called. And right now an investigation is taking place. It made big news. You know, the media was all over it, but oftentimes they get the story wrong. And so we just want to talk about that and see if, you know, was that a justified use of a firearm? What are your thoughts?
From the information that we have, Dan, I'm going to have to say no, that it doesn't look justifiable at first. An investigation may prove something else different, but right now it doesn't look justifiable.
It doesn't sound good because the lady's life did not seem in danger. Pushing and shoving her daughter does not mean that she or her daughter was in danger, but one of the things that the media often gets wrong, and we often don't get privileged information, maybe that other person had a knife or presented a gun or did something that we are not aware of, and we're getting the side of the story that a gun was pulled unjustifiably.
This is true. Media never gets it right. Especially the first time around. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play. You have, was there another weapon involved? Size disparity. From what I understand, there was a total of 4 women. There were 2 women on one side and then a young lady and her mother. From what I understand from one of the articles that I read, that the mother was pushed out of the way while the fighting was ensuing between her 20-year-old daughter and the 38 and 40-something-year-old other lady. Did her mother feel that she couldn't help her daughter and her daughter was in trouble? It's hard to say, but that's something that you have to take into account. In Michigan, there's defense of a third party. You can defend someone else if you think their life is in danger. But was her life in danger, or was it just a fist fight or a shoving match?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, and that's the one thing she's going to have to prove. Was her life in danger? Was it a justified use of a firearm? Now, the police said that this is either a 60-day misdemeanor or a felony charge for use of a firearm in a felonious manner. As a person with the gun drawn on them, even if the other party had a firearm, that is not the time to draw your firearm.
A lot of people think that's the best time, and logically, I mean, when you think about it, it sounds like the best time to pull your firearm, but you're already behind the ball.
Yeah.
So pulling your firearm out when someone else has their firearm pulled out, that's a tough thing to do, to actually pull it out and actually defend yourself.
Well, isn't that when we rationalize, say, hey, I don't want a problem here now because they got the draw on you? It could turn out real bad.
Turn out real bad real quick.
Over a notebook.
Exactly.
Now, as a bystander, you're the in the aisle over, you have a gun, and you see something's going on. All of a sudden, you see somebody has a firearm on somebody else. Is that the time to get involved?
That's not the time to get involved the way most people think. The best way to get involved is just to, if you can, get to a safe area and just report what you saw. Report what you heard or what you saw. Not to get involved, not to pull your gun, because you don't, unless you're there from the development of that situation, you don't know who's the aggressor and who's not. So you don't want to get yourself involved and end up shooting someone who was lawfully pulling their firearm, and now you're in a bigger pickle than what you originally were.
Well, and that's part of the problem, is people misidentify the situation. And if that was a lawful use of a firearm and you get involved, now you're involved in a crime.
Exactly.
And if you use your gun, you could go to prison for a long time.
Exactly.
So secure your kids, get out of, you know, secure your kids, whoever you're with, and try to gain everything you can, or just hightail it out of there.
And what a lot of people don't forget, the reason that a lot of us carry a gun as far as civilians go is because it's not to take a life, it's to protect life.
Right.
So if I can protect my life by leaving, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's a smart thing. One of the things that the police are trying to do is gather witnesses. If you are in a situation like this, it's very important that you don't let those witnesses escape that area, because once they're gone, you'll never see them again.
No.
And that could be your greatest ally, is a witness. If you feel you are right, maybe another weapon was presented, they could give it to a friend and that person could leave, and there's no evidence of that. Now, we hope they have cameras up above and everything, but we were talking earlier, if you are with somebody, say, hey, get that person over there, they saw the whole thing, get
Right.
their name and number so that we have a contact that could help me in a legal situation.
Exactly. And that's a good point, Dan. You said ask somebody else to try to get some information for you, because you got to remember, if they just saw you pull a gun out on somebody and you're saying, hey, tell me, you know, what happened, they're going to say what they believe you want them to say. So that can come back to hurt you in court. The prosecutor, defense attorney, they're going to try to use that against you.
Right.
They're going to say the witness said this because they were intimidated, they were scared. You already put a gun on one person, they didn't want to get shot.
However, once a gun is presented, it's not a bad idea just to be ready in case that thing swings around toward you or your loved ones or innocent people.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll have to see the way this thing turns out. As a law enforcement officer, the media gets it wrong, and after an investigation, we learn more facts that come in, don't we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll be interested to see how this is all going to turn out.
Okay, but at the first glance, it looks like the lady made a major error.
And that's definitely a felonious assault. That's definitely a felony in the state of Michigan.
And she could do some time.
Definitely.
All right, so we have to be careful out there. Your insight is always appreciated.
Well, thanks for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching, and you guys be safe.